Good morning. I hereby call to order this sixth meeting of the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission for the year 2025. We welcome everyone joining us here in the room today, as well as those joining us on the live stream. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. At today's meeting, which is open to the public, the Commission will act on various matters. Since adequate forms have been made available for public participation in cases before the Commission, there is no opportunity for the public to address the Commission at this public meeting. Public meeting motions, statements, and video will be available on the Commission's website later today. The first matter on this morning's agenda is the approval of the minutes of the meeting of February 20th, 2025. I would like to recognize Commissioner Coleman as the editor of the minutes. Commissioner Coleman.
Thank you, Chairman. I have reviewed the minutes of the February 20th, 2025 meeting, and I move that they be approved as submitted.
Heard the motion by Commissioner Coleman. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Inouye. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The minutes are approved by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary, we are ready for your presentation.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Your various bureaus and offices have prepared the following agenda items for your consideration. Therefore, let us begin on page 1 with matters presented by the Bureau of Audits. It is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 1, beginning with the audit report for First Energy Pennsylvania Electric Company and Metropolitan Edison Company rate districts universal service charge, and continuing the omnibus to include both items on page 2, all three items on page 3, and including and ending the omnibus with the single item on page 4, the focused management and operations audit of the Newtown Artesian Water Company, and releasing all audit reports included in the omnibus to the public.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Zerfus. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matters are approved by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 5, in matters presented by Director Moore and the Bureau of Consumer Services, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the petition filed by the Philadelphia Gas Works regarding its Customer Responsibility Program.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Zerfus. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The matter is approved by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
It is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed order in the petition of the Peoples Natural Gas Company regarding its Universal Service and Energy Conservation Plan.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Inouye, seconded by Vice Chair Barrow. Any discussion?
Chairman, I have a verbal.
Vice Chair Barrow.
Thank you. I'm happy to grant this requested modification to the budget of People's Universal Service and Conservation Plan. This is their emergency furnace and service line repair program. And I'm glad to see the program is reaching so many low-income customers who do need this assistance. And I just want to point out that the work being done to heating systems, hot water heaters, gas line repairs, and/or replacements is critical to reducing bills and also just keeping people in their homes. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. Any further comments? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The matter is approved by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 6, in matters presented by Director Hafner and the Office of Special Assistance, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order in the formal complaint of Hallie Savannah versus the West Penn Power Company.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Coleman, seconded by Vice Chair Barrow. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matters approved by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Continuing on page 6, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order in the petition of PPL Electric Utilities proposing a modification to its Act 129 plan.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Zerfus. Any discussion?
Chairman, I have a statement.
Vice Chair Barrow.
Thank you. Please enter the statement into the record as though read in its entirety. We are reviewing staff's denial of PPL's request to modify its Act 129 EE&C plan with a new electric vehicle charging pilot. The pilot has a budget of $875,000, and it aims to serve approximately 1,000 customers with Energy Star EV chargers that draw less energy in standby mode when they're not charging. Based on the company's estimates, the pilot will save 60,500 kilowatt hours and 7.13 kilowatts of peak demand savings. I'm worried about the cost effectiveness of the program. The total resource ratio is 0.04, and that's low. It's well below what we usually see for this kind of investment. Given that low TRC ratio, from a cost effectiveness perspective, I don't believe that the pilot in its current form aligns with the Commission's broader goals of promoting energy efficiency in a cost-effective manner. Now, that being said, I know that some technology pilots are useful despite not being cost-effective because they gather data, which will facilitate other programs in the future. So what I mean is that this might be a piece of a larger puzzle, and I'm not just seeing the larger puzzle. Broadly, the company describes that the pilot will gather data on potential load shapes. Given the very low TRC, I need more detailed information about what's being studied in order to make an informed decision on the petition. I've posed some questions in my written statement, which I will not repeat here, and I simply ask PPL to follow up with responses to those questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. Any further comments? I do have a statement in this matter. I ask my statement be entered into the record as though I read it in its entirety. Before the Commission is a petition for reconsideration of staff action filed by PPL Electric Utilities seeking approval of a minor change to PPL's Act 129 Phase 4 Energy Efficiency and Conservation Plan. The minor change proposes adding a residential electric vehicle charging pilot program to PPL's portfolio of residential pilot programs. The EV charging pilot would incentivize the adoption of Level 2 Energy Star EV chargers through dealership partnerships, customer rebates, and instant discounts. PPL asserts that these chargers use 40% less energy than a standard EV charger when in standby mode. Accordingly, PPL expects to claim approximately 60,500 kilowatts in annual savings. The EV charging pilot program would also gather data on charging load shapes that could help inform PPL's EV charging rate design, and would track and report on pilot program participation, customer marketing, and installation preferences. No answers or comments were filed to the petition. I support approving the EV charging pilot program. As I've mentioned previously this year, programs under Act 129 are among the most important tools available to the Commission when addressing the issue of guaranteeing adequate electric supply. I encourage electric distribution companies to consider cost-effective programs under Act 129 as creative solutions to the question of resource adequacy. The benefits of PPL's EV charging pilot program are twofold: energy savings and information gathering. In terms of energy savings, the overall total resource cost benefit ratio for the entire EE&C plan with the EV charging pilot program included will remain at 1.15, which satisfies the Act 129 cost effectiveness compliance requirement. The individual TRC benefit ratio of the EV charging pilot program itself will likely become more valuable as electricity becomes scarcer and the cost of that commodity continues to increase. As for information gathering, the EV charging pilot program will assist PPL in understanding potential impacts on its distribution system as EV adoption increases. This purpose can be used toward the development of a tariff specifically for electric vehicle charging customers, consistent with the Commission's recently published final policy statement on rate design for EV charging. For these reasons, I believe PPL's EV charging pilot program is reasonable and is in the public interest. Any further comments?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to associate myself with your comments.
Thank you. Commissioner Zerfus. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no.
Abstain.
The ayes have it with a vote of 4-0 with Vice Chair Barrow abstaining. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 7, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order regarding the informal investigation of the Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement versus the First Energy Pennsylvania Electric Company.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Zerfus, seconded by Commissioner Yenora. Any discussion?
We have a joint motion.
Vice Chair Barrow.
Thank you. Please enter this motion into the record as though read in its entirety. This is a joint motion between myself and Chairman DeFrank. Before us for consideration is the joint petition for approval of settlement filed by the Commission's Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement and First Energy Pennsylvania Electric Company. I&E instituted an informal investigation of West Penn after a windstorm caused significant damage to trees and power lines in June of 2021. During the June 14th, 2021 storm, an energized 7,200-volt primary line fell across a carport at a residence on Arden Road in Washington County. The customer called 911, and then they called West Penn for assistance. West Penn did not show at the residence, and the customers were unable to leave their home. Notably, West Penn line crews were in the area responding to 4 locations with down wires, but the crews were not aware of the downed energized line on Arden Road. Through the instant joint settlement, West Penn agrees to pay a civil penalty of $12,500 and complete 3 remedial measures regarding wires down training and procedures. We note that this is not the first case involving downed wires at a First Energy utility. On June 2nd, 2009, a West Penn energized line fell from its pole and onto a customer's property. That line killed the customer and injured the customer's mother-in-law, who was trying to render assistance. On January 9th, 2014, the Commission approved the settlement. In that case, West Penn paid a civil penalty of $86,000 and agreed to complete 10 remedial measures. On July 26, 2016, a Met Ed conductor fell to the ground and it remained energized. That line killed the customer and caused property damage. On February 4th, 2021, the Commission approved a settlement. Met Ed paid a civil penalty of $1 million, made a contribution to its hardship fund of $150,000, and agreed to complete a list of remedial measures. On March 18, 2024, the Commission upheld a complaint against Met Ed when one of its electrical lines fell onto a public road. The energized line damaged an occupied vehicle. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Before us again is another downed wire, a settlement, a civil penalty, and remedial measures. Upon review of the joint settlement, the statements in support, and the limited record before us, we believe that the record is insufficient to complete the analysis of whether the joint settlement is in the public interest. Of note, the record is lacking important factual details which would permit us to determine whether the terms are sufficient to protect the public interest. And we have a list of missing facts They are numbered 1 through 8 in the written statement, and I refer you to that. Accordingly, we will keep this matter open to allow the parties the opportunity to supplement the record with additional statements in support and/or stipulated facts responsive to those 8 inquiries. Therefore, we move that the joint petition for approval of settlement filed by the Commission's Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement and First Energy Pennsylvania Electric Company on March 26, 2024 is stayed. 2, the Commission's Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement and First Energy Pennsylvania Electric Company shall, within 30 days, file supplemental statements in support or stipulated facts in support of the proposed joint petition for approval of settlement consistent with this joint motion. And 3, the Office of Special Assistance shall prepare an order consistent with this joint motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. We've heard the joint motion by Vice Chair Barrow and myself. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Zerfus. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the motion is approved by a vote of 5-0. On the matters amended by the motion, is there any objection to taking the previous roll call? Hearing none, the matter passes by a vote of 5-0 as amended by the motion. Madam Secretary.
Continuing on page 7, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order in the joint application of the Pennsylvania American Water Company and the Manwalamink Water and Sewer Companies.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Nora, seconded by Vice Chair Barrow. Any discussion?
Chairman,
Vice Chair Barrow.
I have a statement. Please enter the statement into the record as though read in its entirety. This is Pennsylvania American's request to purchase the Manwalamink Water Company and Manwalamink Sewer Company located in Smithfield and Middle Smithfield Townships in Monroe County. ALJ Johnson denied the joint application, and today we are considering the exceptions filed by PA American and Manwalamink. The current employees and owners of Manwalamink are elderly, they want to retire, and this sale would facilitate their exit from the public utility business. The current owners state that they don't have the staff, the technology, or the financial ability to comply on a consistent basis with current regulations, and that they will not be able to address the new PFAS requirements that are coming. And I think it's important to highlight some facts about this transaction. There are 1,271 water service customers, 1,266 wastewater customers. Manwalamink Water Company's non-revenue water was 30.5%. That's lost and unaccounted for. That is above the industry standard of 20%. The company is struggling to comply with safety and environmental regulations, but there currently is no violation or consent order and agreement from DEP. The purchase price for the combined system is $4 million. 2.2 of that for the wastewater system, 1.8 for the water system. The Office of Consumer Advocate calculated the depreciated original cost of both systems at $1.9 million. OSBA's figure for that is $2.3 million. So both are about half of the $4 million purchase price. Pennsylvania American anticipates making $7 million in capital investments to the systems during the first 5 years of operation because there has been extensive deferred maintenance. And so sales price, $4 million. The actual value of the company, about $1.9 million. And Pennsylvania American avers that if the transaction is approved, they will place somewhere between $1.9 million and that $4 million into rate base. When the commission considers whether a certificate of public convenience for the sale of a utility should be granted under sections 1102 and 1103 of the Public Utility Code, the standard we use is the one established in 1972 in the City of York case. The commission has to find that the granting of the certificate to approve the sale will affirmatively benefit the public. And to determine whether that benefit exists, the commission weighs the benefits and the cost of the transaction, including the rate impact on customers. Here, Pennsylvania American classified the rate impact of the purchase price as speculative because we do not yet know how much the sales price, how much of that sales price the company plans to claim in its next rate case. And they say that the rate impact should not be considered as a known harm of the transaction and should not be given much weight when weighing the benefits and the cost of the transaction. The rate impact's going to be between 1.9 million and 4 million. That's not contested. If the entire 4 million is claimed, that would be an 111% premium over depreciated original cost. Combine that with the projected capital expenditures, and the result's going to be a $500,000 annual revenue deficiency. So, even with all of that said, I believe this joint application should be granted for many of the reasons put out there by Manwalamink and also by Pennsylvania American. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be in the customer's best interest for this company whose owners no longer want it to transfer the company to an operator that does want it and can run it. However, I am worried about where the legal analysis on this is going. Under Section 1102 of the Code, we have a balancing test to do. And in doing that balancing test, I believe that the approval of the transaction should be conditioned on limiting the rate-based claim for the acquisition to a figure much closer to the depreciated original cost of the facilities. I think that would appropriately balance benefits and harms. So, acquisition of Manwalamink strengthens Pennsylvania American's finances simply by the addition of these customer accounts in the facilities. And that's whether Pennsylvania American pays net book value or overpays by 111%. Overpaying for the system is unnecessary. It harms both Manwalamink's and Pennsylvania American's existing customers. Pennsylvania American shareholders are held harmless from overpayment because that cost is ultimately placed on customers. Any overpayment should be absorbed by the shareholders, as they're going to benefit either which way. And just to, there were some arguments made statements made in the record that the overpayment is not going to be substantial when it comes to customers' bills. And I think that is not a reasonable line of thinking. A $2 million overpayment, let's put that in perspective. In 2024, Pennsylvania American spent $2.7 million on its low-income water programs. Overpaying by $2 million is not negligible. It is customer money. The shareholders in this case, they're the ones that should take on that cost. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Brewer. Any further comments? I do have a few points I'd like to make regarding this matter. This concerns a small water utility and wastewater utility being acquired by a larger investor-owned utility. The employees of the Manwalomink company seek to exit the business and retire. This acquisition is their succession plan to ensure continuation of water and wastewater services to their customers. There were also questions about Manwalomink's ability to maintain and improve the system at its current rates and to comply with looming environmental regulations. This acquisition also resolves those concerns. The Commission has seen more frequent receiverships and acquisitions of small water and wastewater utilities for similar reasons, such as the inability to replace aging infrastructure and comply with PFAS regulations. As I said at our meeting, as I said at our last meeting, I predict this trend will continue. We have another receivership later on the agenda here that we will be ratifying. Additionally, I note that in this proceeding, the acquisition price of the Manwalomink companies is much greater than the depreciated original cost. Should PAWC seek to claim the excess in rate base under Section 1327, I will carefully review the record to ensure that the actual purchase price is reasonable and that all criteria in Section 1327 have been met. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'd like to be recorded as concur in part, dissent in part,
But as an aye.
but
Okay.
as an aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matter passes by a vote of 5-0, noting Vice Chair Barrow concurs in part and dissents in part. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 8, it is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion the formal complaint of Kevin Wallace versus the Philadelphia Gas Works, and pausing to note that the second item on page 8, the formal complaint of Tamika Anderson versus the Philadelphia Gas Works, has been postponed until the public meeting of April 10, 2025, and continuing the omnibus motion to include both items on page 9, and including and ending the omnibus with the single item on page 10, the application of Husky Brothers Moving LLC.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Coleman, seconded by Vice Chair Barrow. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matters passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 11, in matters presented by Director Diskin and the Bureau of Technical Utility Services, it is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 11, beginning with the change in bylaws proposed by the Pennsylvania Sustainable Energy Board and ending with the application of Smart Switch Energy LLC.
Is there a motion to consider staff recommendations?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Zerfas, seconded by Vice Chair Barrow. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matters passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 12, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed order regarding the letter of notification filed by PPL Electric Utilities.
Is there a motion to consider a staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Nora, seconded by Commissioner Coleman. Any discussion?
Chairman, I have a statement.
Vice Chair Barrow.
Please enter the statement into the record as though read in its entirety. This is a letter of notification application filed by PPL. They are replacing some rusted Core 10 steel structures on their 230 kV system. I would like to see feasibility evaluations of advanced transmission technologies such as dynamic line ratings and composite core advanced conductors included in these applications. Dynamic line ratings leverage real-time environmental and operational data to adjust the capacity ratings of transmission lines. They let us get more bang for our buck out of our spend on the grid. They can defer or minimize costly upgrades while reducing congestion and costs for customers. And as far as the composite core advanced conductors, their costs may be more upfront, but they can double the transfer capability for lines under 50 miles in length. And so that kind of improvement can yield significant customer savings by reducing unnecessary infrastructure investments and operational inefficiencies. And I think it's time for us to start at least looking at the cost-benefit analysis of their use. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. I would like to associate myself with your remarks there. I would say that, as I pointed out, as the resource becomes scarcer and scarcer, we have to do all that we can to ensure that we save every electron we possibly can. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matter is approved by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Continuing on page 12, it is recommended that the commission adopt the proposed order in the application filed by Choice Energy Services Retail, LP.
Is there a motion to consider staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Zerfus. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the matter is approved by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 13, it is recommended that the commission adopt the proposed order in the letter of notification filed by the PUC Energy Company.
Is there a motion to consider staff recommendation?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Zerfus, seconded by Vice Chair Barrow. Any discussion?
Chairman, I have a statement.
Vice Chair Barrow.
Please enter the statement into the record as though read in its entirety. I will not read it. It is the same statement that I made on the PPL LON, asking for evaluations of dynamic line ratings and composite core advanced conductors. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. I will again associate myself with Vice Chair Barrow's statement. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the matter is approved by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Continuing on page 13, it is recommended that the commission adopt in an omnibus motion the remaining item on page 13, the tentative order canceling the licenses of certain electric generation suppliers and continuing the omnibus to include both items on page 14, both items on page 15, and both items on page 16, ending the omnibus with the cancellation of certificates of public convenience of certain motor carriers.
Is there a motion to consider staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Coleman, seconded by Commissioner Nora. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matters are approved by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 17 and matters presented by Chief Counsel Screven and the Law Bureau, it is recommended that the commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 17, beginning with the petition filed by Dish Wireless LLC, doing business as Gen Mobile, and including and ending the omnibus on page 18 with the ratification of the ex parte emergency order in 529 proceeding regarding the Wonderview Water Company and Wonderview Sanitary Facilities.
Is there a motion to consider staff recommendations?
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Zerfus. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matters are approved by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 19 and matters presented by Chief A.L.J. Rainey and the Office of Administrative Law Judge, it is recommended that the commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 19, beginning with A.L.J. Long's recommended decision in the joint application of PennDOT and the City of Pittsburgh, and ending the omnibus with A.L.J. Coogan's recommended decision of the rate proposal and joint petition for settlement by the City of Lock Haven Water Department.
Is there a motion to consider staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Zerfus, seconded by Vice Chair Barrow. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and matters are approved by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes the regular agenda. Turning now to the carry-in. On page 1 of the carry-in agenda, it is recommended by the Executive Director that the Commission ratify the appointment of Matthew Hampshire as the new Secretary of the Commission effective April 19, 2025.
Is there a motion to consider staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Coleman, seconded by Vice Chair Barrow. Any discussion? I do have a few comments I would like to First, congratulate Matt on his appointment to the position of secretary. Matt will have big shoes to fill replacing Rosemary Chiavetta, who's retiring on April 18th. But we will be talking about Rosemary's career at our next public meeting. This is about Matt, though. Matt has a firm understanding of the duties and functions of the Secretary of the Commission and the work of the Secretary's Bureau. He's worked extensively in conjunction with the Secretary's Bureau in his role of Legal Division Supervisor in the Office of Administrative Law Judge. He is an experienced attorney who is well positioned to direct the PUC's Secretary's Bureau. Prior to his role as the Legal Division Supervisor, Matt began his career with the PUC in 2018 by serving as a mediator with the Office of Administrative Law Judge. Matt is a graduate of the Pennsylvania State University and Roger Williams University School of Law. He lives in Marietta, Lancaster County, and is married with 3 children. Matt, congratulations, and on behalf of myself and my colleagues, we look forward to working with you in your new role. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and matter is approved by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 2 of the carry-in agenda. It is recommended by the Office of Special Assistants that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order in the formal complaint of Michael and Sharon Hartman versus PPL Electric Utilities.
Is there a motion to consider staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Zerfus. Any discussion?
Chairman, I have a joint statement with Commissioner Yanora.
Commissioner Coleman.
Thank you. I would just add that, ask that our joint statement be entered in the record as though we read it in entirety, and I will be voting and concurring in result only.
Okay. Any further comments?
I'll also be voting and concurring in result only.
Okay. Further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, matter passes by a vote of 5-0, noting the Commissioners Coleman and Yanora concurring in result only. Madam Secretary.
Continuing on page 2, it is recommended by the Office of Special Assistants that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order in the petition filed by Solarstone Development, LLC, for interim emergency order and certification of a material question.
Is there a motion to consider staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Zerfus. Any discussion?
Chairman, I have a motion.
Vice Chair Barrow.
Thank you. Please enter this motion into the record as though read in its entirety. This is, before us for consideration is the order denying interim emergency relief and certifying material question to the Commission from OALJ. According to the complaint, PPL is requiring interconnection customers to pay a non-refundable deposit of 25% of anticipated cost of system upgrades on interconnection projects. The deposit would be used to fund the interconnection study and procurement of long lead resources needed for the customer's project. PPL is allegedly demanding that Solarstone pay $729,250 for its Mount Carmel solar project prior to completing the interconnection study. And Solarstone alleges that PPL has not properly filed tariffs, which include the deposit, contrary to the Commission's regulations, and seeks to enjoin PPL's non-refundable deposit policy. For Solarstone to prevail on a petition for interim emergency relief, they have to meet 4 factors. 1, that their right to relief is clear. 2, the need for relief is immediate. 3, the injury would be irreparable if relief is not granted. And 4, the relief requested is not injurious to the public interest. My focus is on factor 3. So we examine whether the harm can be reversed if the request for emergency relief is not granted. Generally, monetary losses alone are not going to support a finding of irreparable harm. In most cases, parties that incur monetary losses can be compensated by an award of monetary damages. The PUC, however, cannot award monetary damages, but we can refund unlawfully collected rates. Solarstone is seeking a determination that the deposit at issue is a PPL unfiled tariffed rate. Solarstone, if victorious, may receive a full refund of the deposit under Section 1312 of the Public Utility Code. Because the deposit here is potentially fully compensable, it does not satisfy Factor 3, irreparable injury. Therefore, I move that the petition for interim emergency order filed on February 15, 2024 by Solarstone Development is denied. 2, that the case is remanded to the Office of the Administrative Law Judge for further proceedings. And 3, that the Office of Special Assistants prepare an opinion and order consistent with this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. We've heard the motion by Vice Chair Barrow. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Zerfus. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is approved by a vote of 5-0. On the matter as amended by the motion, is there any objection to taking previous roll call? Hearing none, the matter passes as amended by the motion by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes the carry-in agenda. Turning to the supplemental carry-in on page 1 of the supplemental carry-in agenda, there is your motion, Mr. Chairman, concerning interconnection and tariffs for large load customers.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. It is my motion. I would ask the Vice Chair to chair.
Thank you. I recognize you, Chairman DeFrank, for the purpose of your motion.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. I guess I should turn my microphone on, huh? The Public Utility Commission is aware of the increasing number of large load customers, including hyperscale data centers supporting artificial intelligence and other operations. These large load users are forecast to place significant new demand on the electric grid in both Pennsylvania and the broader PJM region. Having said that, these new customers represent a tremendous opportunity for the state in terms of jobs, economic growth, technological advancement, and rate stability, in addition to bolstering our national security. Balancing concerns like these is one of the primary mandates of the Commission, as we seek to establish just and reasonable tariffs that provide open and non-discriminatory access to our public utility systems while protecting existing customers from undue burdens or costs. At this moment, I believe that means creating fair rules and procedures that provide transparency to new customers seeking to interconnect, protections for existing customers, and certainty to utilities themselves as they consider potentially significant investments to their infrastructure. First and foremost, the Commission must protect the Commonwealth's ratepayers. In this case, that means ensuring that if any upgrades are undertaken to enable the interconnection of large loads, they are made with a high degree of ratepayer protection against risk of utility investments for projects that may not materialize. In such cases, questions may arise about who will ultimately bear these stranded costs. Providing certainty may mean requiring deposits or other financial security, minimum contract terms, or some sort of breakage or termination fee for loads that decide not to proceed with construction. The Commission also needs to ensure fair cost allocation for projects that do go forward, ensuring that costs attributable solely to one customer are not distributed to the rest of the rate base. With respect to large load customers, we want to provide them with certainty regarding the time interconnection will take and the costs they will have to incur. I believe there may even be opportunities for expedited interconnection for end users willing to fund and construct system upgrades themselves. Utilities may reasonably take a conservative approach to projects with energy demand of up to 1 gigawatt. Loads of that scale may require extensive studies to maintain reliability, and those studies may necessitate large investments in infrastructure. The Commission certainly appreciates taking a cautious approach, but this should be balanced with the economic growth opportunities presented by large load customers in the Commonwealth. These customers deserve transparent and non-discriminatory interconnection timelines to plan their investments and operations. For the reasons outlined above, pursuant to Title 66 of the Pennsylvania Consolidated Statutes, Sections 331A and B2. I propose charging Commission staff with organizing an en banc hearing. The purpose of the hearing will be to address the questions I have raised in this motion, along with any other issues that testifiers or commenters may raise. The hearing will be held in the afternoon of April 24th, 2025, in Hearing Room 1 of the Keystone Building in Harrisburg, and consists of 3 panels made up of electric distribution companies, large load customers, and advocates. More details pertaining to the hearing, including its agenda and panelists, will be released leading up to the event. My goal is for the Commission to receive testimony and written comments from all interested parties on topics such as appropriate megawatt size designations for large load tariffs, deposits or financial security from large load customers, appropriate calculations of contributions in aid of construction, minimum contract terms, maximum times for interconnection studies and agreements, appropriate fees or expenses for interconnection studies, load ramping schedules for customers that may phase in their usage, exit or early termination fees, distinctions in tariff designs for firm service versus interruptible service for large load customers, large customers bringing primary or backup generation to serve their load, and any prudent standby rates, transparent cost structures for interconnection, optionality for infrastructure upgrades to be made directly by prospective incoming large load customers, and appropriate tariff subcategories to accommodate such an option. Expedited interconnection for users willing to construct infrastructure or system upgrades at their own expense. Best practices learned from other jurisdictions. And any other procedures, rules, or tariff designs that can facilitate the efficient and timely interconnection of this unique category of electric customers. Following the en banc hearing pursuant to Title 66 of the Pennsylvania Consolidated Statutes, Section 331B4, I direct the Office of Competitive Market Oversight, the Bureau of Technical Utility Services, and the Law Bureau to review the submitted testimony and written comments filed to the docket and develop a proposed model tariff for large load customers seeking interconnection in the Commonwealth. That tariff would be available to all electric distribution companies and represent a preferred set of best practices based on the perspectives shared with the Commission by all stakeholders. In my view, this is the most effective action the Commission can take to balance the various interests at play in this exciting new period of economic and technological development. I believe we have a huge opportunity here, and the Commission should do its part to seize that opportunity while protecting the broader public interest in Pennsylvania. Therefore, I move that, 1, pursuant to Title 66 of the Pennsylvania Consolidated Statutes, Sections 331A and B2, the Commission convene an en banc hearing on April 24, 2025, to address the questions presented in this motion. 2, individuals who are selected as panelists shall file their testimony to the docket no later than April 23, 2025. 3, following the en banc hearing, there will be a 30-day period for interested parties to file comments to the docket. 4, at the conclusion of the comment period, there will be a 15-day period for interested parties to file reply comments to the docket. And 5, pursuant to Title 66 of the Pennsylvania Consolidated Statutes, Section 331B4, the Law Bureau, Bureau of Technical Utility Services, the Office of Competitive Market Oversight shall review the testimony and written comments submitted at this docket and develop a proposed model tariff for large load customers for Commission's review. Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow.
Thank you. Is there a second to the motion?
Second?
Second by Commissioner Coleman. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any objections? Hearing none. Is there any objection to using the previous roll call? Sorry. All right, the motion is adopted by a vote of 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. Madam Secretary.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, that concludes all items to be considered today.
Thank you. Before we adjourn today, I want to take a moment to recognize an important date in the history of the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission. March 31st marks the 88th anniversary of the establishment of the PUC as an independent administrative commission. That doesn't include the previous 6 years as the state's Railroad Commission, and before that, 24 years as the Public Service Commission. In 1937, legislation created the Public Utility Commission as we know it today. For more than 8 decades, the commissioners who came before us and my colleagues here today, as well as thousands of commission employees, have faithfully carried out our mission of balancing the needs of consumers and utilities. The landscape has changed significantly in recent years, with new responsibilities from the General Assembly, new leadership, and evolving issues at the forefront, such as data centers and resource adequacy, to name just a few of the recent major issues we are addressing, all of which call for us to be thoughtful and adaptive in preparing for the opportunities ahead. The Commission has seen an increasing amount of responsibility beyond its traditional areas of electric, gas, water, and telecommunications and others to include additional responsibilities on 811, call before you dig, pole attachments, and Marcellus Shale, to name a few. Our increasing areas of responsibility reflect that we have done well at our job. To successfully address those changes, we are proudly embarking on the implementation of our 5-year strategic plan. And the name of the plan says it all, PAPUC Forward. Our new comprehensive operational strategy for 2025 to 2029 is designed to ensure the Commission remains a leader in state utility regulation as we approach our 90th anniversary. I want to thank all Commission staff, past and present, and the larger PUC community for your contributions to this Commission's proud history and exciting future. And finally, before closing today, I would like to take a moment to note the passing of a prominent member of the PUC community and a former Commission Executive Director, Karen Mowry. Karen was a longtime employee of the Commission, where she served in a number of roles here: Assistant Counsel, and Deputy Chief Counsel in our Law Bureau, Deputy Executive Director, Executive Director, Director of Operations, and Director of Regulatory Operations for the Commission. She also served as Deputy Small Business Advocate at OSBA. After leaving the Commission, Karen returned to private practice. While at the Commission, she was the founder and driving force behind the creation of the Office of Competitive Market Oversight, or OCMO, which was established when EDC's rate caps were being lifted. She was intensely interested in competitive markets and the many things that needed to get done to jumpstart the market at that time. Karen was the creator of the Escape Group at the PUC, which was known for its legendary social gatherings for employees, including lunchtime tailgates, where she was known to cheer on her favorite Pittsburgh teams. From OCMO to Escape to Charge, Karen was quite proud of her acronyms, and some of them are still in use here at the Commission. Beyond her professional achievements, Karen was known for her kindness and touched many lives with her generosity and guidance. She will be missed by many here at the Commission. She has gained respect and friendship of many staff at the Commission and in the industry. Her legacy lives on here through her work here, where she has made a profound impact. And before adjourning today's meeting, I would like to note another presence of a VIP figure here. We have our FERC chairman, Commissioner Christie, here with us today. Commissioner, Chairman, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And with that, if there is no further business to come before the Commission, is there any objection to adjourning? Hearing none, we are adjourned.